Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll continue to admit folks as they come into the waiting room. Welcome to the Distinguished Leadership Lecture Series presented by the Department of Educational Leadership in the School of Education at Virginia Commonwealth University. I'm Whitney Newcomb, Chair of the Department of Educational Leadership and Interim Associate Dean for Faculty Development. We're thrilled to have you with us today as we explore ways to innovate in higher education. This series is designed to foster meaningful communication to bridge the gaps between universities and their communities by bringing together renowned leaders in education, leadership, and policy. We aim to create a collaborative space where academics and practitioners unite to explore leadership challenges, share innovative solutions, and advance the well-being of the communities we serve. We have Dr. Andrew Arroyo with us here today to provide introductory remarks for our speaker, President Michael Crow. Dr. Arroyo is the Senior Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and the Interim Dean of University College at VCU. Dr. Arroyo?
Thank you, Dr. Newcomb. Welcome, everyone. I see a lot of familiar names on the screen. On behalf of President Michael Rao and Provost Fotis Soteropoulos, I bring greetings, and I am thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce President Michael Crow as the inaugural speaker for the School of Education's new Distinguished Leadership Lecture Series. President Crow is the 16th and current president of Arizona State University and is credited with designing the new American university model calling for educational access, excellence, and social impact. He also chairs the board of the University Innovation Alliance, of which VCU is a proud and highly engaged member. After earning his doctorate, President Crow worked as an advisor to the Office of Technology Assessment in the U.S. Congress and began his teaching career at the University of Kentucky and then Iowa State University. At Iowa, President Crow served as the director of its Institute for Physical Research and Technology. President Crow left Iowa to serve as professor of science and technology policy at Columbia's School of International and Public Affairs. His administrative career progressed rapidly, and he was soon appointed executive vice provost. At Columbia, Crow was instrumental in developing the university's digital online education strategy and in creating the Columbia Earth Institute. In 2002, President Crow joined Arizona State University. President Crow recently celebrated the 20th anniversary of his presidency of Arizona State in 2022, and he has spent much of his tenure there redefining the role of ASU as the new American university. The new American university model is a model created by President Crow to change admissions and teaching methods to widen access to higher education. President Crow has dedicated himself to innovation in higher education. We're excited to have him share his vision for the future here with us today as he explores with us the responsibility we have to spur creative innovation to propel lifelong learners to move our nation forward. And I will say this on a final and personal note, having watched President Crow's career trajectory and having learned from him, I will say that he epitomizes the equation that decisive leadership sustained over time equals results. Without further ado, I present to you President Michael Crow.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. It really is great to have an opportunity to be here, to be with the group. I'm going to try to be, informal in the sense that we're here, at the belly of the beast, inside a school of education, focusing on the issues of leadership and focusing on the issues of leadership in higher education and how do we make things work and so forth and so on. And so I say this to you because it's a tough business that we're in. We're unbelievably innovative individually within our sector. We've got, geniuses, polymaths, polyglots, everything, people creating new things, new ideas in their dissertations and new this and new that and all these things that are happening. But we happen to be in a sector that, for whatever reason, has been less innovative than it needs to be for our democracy to be successful. So the model that I proposed 22 years ago when I was appointed to this job in Arizona at ASU was a model of one in which I basically said, could we find a way to maintain fundamental access through highly egalitarian admission standards to a world-class research university rather than having the research universities drift off to be basically replicants of unbelievably selective private universities in which the number of people that they don't admit becomes the measurement of their success. And so we call that inclusion versus exclusion. I made a proposal for what ultimately became our charter. It was called a vision statement. I made a proposal for a series of design aspirations that ultimately became our objectives. And so for 22 years, we've been involved in increasing rates of innovation, increasing impacts of innovation, increasing positive outcomes from innovation. So we've been working on all of those fronts, and I'm happy to talk about what all of that means. Let me give you a sense of what's happened to us here. So we just broke our 2024 HERD report submitted to the NSF, Higher Education Research and Development Expenditure Report, will be above $1 billion of expenditures without a medical school. And I say that because there is this belief in the design of the institutions that you can't have an institution which is highly accessible, and I'll come back to accessibility in a second, and be a very, very high research performer. We consider that to be something in the technical term of the education college hogwash. That's not the case. What we set out to do was to build an institution built around three principles in our charter. The first principle is that we'll measure our success based on who we include and how they succeed. So not who we exclude. So no measurement of quality associated with numbers of applicants versus numbers of people that came. And then when you do that, it turns out then that you set an admission standard. And so we picked the admission standard of the University of California from 1950. So the University of California was already a world-class research university in 1950. University of Michigan was a world-class research university in 1950. And so we said, we'll admit every student with a B average or better that takes the college prep courses in high school and gets a B in those. And so we've been doing that. So our first year class now, this year will be above 17,000 students. Those students and all of the students at the university, all the undergraduates at the university, are completely representative of the socioeconomic diversity of the country and more diverse than the ethnic diversity of Arizona. And so we've been able to achieve that. The second part of our charter is to do research that measurably benefits the public as the principal objective, not just benefits academia. This is something that universities, which are getting thrust into political combat right now, should have been doing a lot more of in terms of how they communicate what they're doing, because very few people any longer understand what we do or why we do it or how we do it. So we have all of those issues and problems. And then the last thing in our charter, which is our aspirational document, is that we take responsibility for the outcomes of communities. And so if we have a declining graduation rate in high school, that's our fault. If we have underperforming healthcare systems, that's our fault. If we have bad environmental outcomes, that's our fault, since we produced all of the knowledgeable, educated people working in all of those spaces. How could it be anything other than our fault, for instance? And so what that's meant for us, just to give you a couple of numbers, is that we've gone from about 8,000 graduates a year to 40,000 graduates a year. In engineering, just in the last 13 years, we've gone from 900 graduates a year to 7,200 graduates a year in engineering, just as examples. We've found ways to scale, found ways to innovate. And so here's what our innovations have done, and I'm going to come back to this in a second. So we started with innovating about having a non-generic identity, our charter, and we can send this to all of you, and we will send it to all of you. So we have a non-generic charter of the three elements that I just mentioned. We have specific design aspirations. Intellectual fusion is a design aspiration for us. Valuing entrepreneurship is a design aspiration for us. Student success at the individual level is a design aspiration for us. We have 9 of these. These design aspirations and the charter then give us a unique trajectory. The second thing that we have innovated around is the academic design. So along the way, we eliminated 85 academic units, colleges, departments, or schools, and we built 40 transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, or post-disciplinary units along our design aspiration called intellectual fusion. Those units, almost without exception, are so outperform our historic inherited generic structures that it's almost beyond belief. You know, we had a geology department that now sits as a part of, not as a department anymore, of our School of Earth and Space Exploration. We had an anthropology department, which then served as the core for our new School for Human Evolution and Social Change. Those 2 units now, one is the #1 academic recipient of NASA funding in the country. The other is the #1 performer of research activities related to anthropology in the country. Both have 5 to 10 times as many students as they used to, and 7 to 11 times as many graduates as they used to. So we're very excited about all of that, and they both have between 10 and 20 times as much research as they used to, just using those 2 as examples. So we went away from generic charter to specified charter, generic design aspirations to specified design aspirations. We then went to new intellectual designs as a key part of our innovative process, more than 40 times, making more than 80 changes, hugely powerful. And then we moved into, after that, basically the concept of continuous innovation. There is no level of performance that we find satisfactory. There is no engagement level that we find satisfactory, because the university is always adjusting, always adapting, always moving into new arenas, always educating more and students that are broadly representative of the totality of the socioeconomic diversity of the society. So we're doing all of that. And so we innovated in terms of the concept of the university being anything but static. It must be involved in continuous innovation at all times, all units, all departments, all time. In the English department, in the physics department, in the School for Social Transformation, in the School of Sustainability, in the College of Global Futures, in the Design and Art Institute, in the Architecture School, whatever it happens to be, continuous innovation. And then the last area of innovation for us is this notion of embracing technology in every possible way. So we have built a unit of more than 500 people called Ed Plus at ASU. We have absorbed, built, bought, or developed our own more than 400 advanced learning technologies. A more recent one is a technology for virtual reality teaching of biology and chemistry. We've had more than 35,000 students go through our biology course using a virtual reality laboratory in which we're getting a 40% improvement in learning outcomes. And so this notion of technology being embraced as a part of what we're doing. So all of that is how we innovate. Now, if we go to the first slide that I've got for you all, I only have a couple slides. It's why do we innovate? So leading for innovation. Thank you for the invitation. So this slide right here. We have an insufficiently democratized higher education system. How do I know this? The coin of the realm is still, how many people did you not admit? The coin of the realm is they admit fewer students than apply at the University of Virginia than at Virginia Commonwealth. So therefore, the University of Virginia must be a better school. Well, I don't know why it's a better school just based on admissions. It may have students with higher academic records from high school, but that doesn't make you a better school. So what we've been focused on is democratization of higher education. And that means being egalitarian in our access. That means being effective across students that have learned in different types of learning environments. And so I believe, and we believe, that the democratization of higher education requires technology-enabled design from which we build partnerships, from which we build more access, from which we build a greater opportunity for national success by getting more people to actually finish college. Everyone should know that more than half the people that have gone to college in the United States didn't graduate. So it's little wonder that there's large numbers of people angry at the universities. They have debt, no degree. they have debt, and they're not in the privileged position that those that graduate have become. And so we've got problem after problem after problem. So next slide. So this is somewhat of a busy slide, and I'm going to walk you through this, but we've got what we call 5 realms of learning, and this is how we're now beginning to operate. And we think that public universities should really think seriously about how to operate in all these realms. And so upper left is full immersion. That means on-campus students. We call it full immersion on-campus technology enhanced learning. Now, what we've done there, we have 85,000 students on campus from 155 countries, all 50 states, almost every county in the country. And those full immersion students are engaged in the most advanced learning imaginable, but they're also unbelievably technology enhanced. We're building AI like there's no tomorrow. We're building thousands of courses that are built with AI. We have 20,000 courses. More than half of them have technological components that enhance the learning. And then we're also looking for, in our full immersion environment, just to give you a sense of continuous innovation, the 5 things that we've listed there: 21st century digital learning spaces, whole new ways of learning; artificial intelligence-based advising for every student, every course; intelligent agents; fourth, intelligent tutoring platform using AI systems to help students to learn; and then what we call personalized learning at any scale. Now, what that means then in full immersion is that what we're looking for is a way in which the students that are here, the 85,000 that are here, and we're going to be growing that to 105,000, 115,000, somewhere in that range. Every single person has an individual pathway. Most students are double majoring. Many students are triple majoring. Students are involved in every level of learning imaginable. People are involved they're working, they're employed, they're in student clubs, student groups, taking 2 majors, and then these systems are allowing them to graduate in greater numbers regardless of their specific understanding of certain subjects. And so you may be a genius in music, but not so good in biology. Well, we're going to make you a semi-genius in biology while you continue your genius in music. The second realm, the blue one in the middle, oh, I'm sorry, go to the blue one at the bottom left, digital immersion. This is not full immersion, digital immersion, online technology enhanced. And so in this category, we have this year 110,000 degree seeking students working with our faculty in digital immersion, pursuing degrees. We've graduated more than 100,000 people with these degrees. There are degrees. So the online English degree is from the English department. The online things from our teachers college are from that faculty. Our online biochemistry degree, the first accredited online undergraduate, ABET accredited undergraduate degrees in the world, probably the only one still. So we've got all this going on, 100,000 graduates, more than 100,000 students, growing rapidly, expanding at 20% per year in terms of enrollment. And what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for real-time assessment development based, AI systems telling you how you're doing, how you're learning. We're looking for an integrated human tutor interface. How do we make that work using AI systems to help the tutors? We're looking for multi-organizational pathway mapping so that students can find their way to move down the path, and so forth and so on. Then, given that we can do those 2 things, full immersion and digital immersion, in the middle at the top, the blue box, the blue lines, that's digital immersion massively open. So this is where we've learned the most. This is where we put things where you don't have to be admitted to the university. You can just take courses. You can be engaged. We have 50 courses in a thing called our Universal Learner Curriculum. You can earn your way into the university by taking our courses that are associated with our Pathways program. If you take 4 particular courses and you get better than a B or better in those courses, we know that you're fully qualified to come to the university regardless of your educational attainment, regardless of your educational experience. So much so that we've admitted 6,000 of these students through our Pathways program. These courses don't cost anything other than a security or verification of identity. And so these are just available out there, massively open. Within this space here, massively open, we have hundreds of thousands of learners, hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world taking our courses, connecting to the faculty, finding their way to the university. And we're using a range of technology tools to allow our faculty to do all these things and do $1 billion of research expenditures. Orange at the bottom, education through exploration. So we don't have time for the longer stories here today, but it turns out that Many, many, many courses within the university are being taught by geniuses in the subject. Think biology, think chemistry, think economics, think physics, think astronomy. Geniuses teaching the courses that a third of the people can even understand what they're saying. A third of the people can mimic what they're saying, and a third of the people are clueless in the course itself. So you get basically half the students that really come out of these courses with nothing, and half the students that come out with a little bit, about half of them understanding the course, and about half of them having some understanding of the course. And so what we've been building are education through exploration, virtual reality experiences. So we're building, as you can see here, conversation-based AI tutoring for virtual reality enhanced labs. We built a number of labs. We built biology. The entire entry-level science courses for biology are all virtual reality-based labs. We're getting a 40% improvement in our learning outcomes. We're getting a 2 grade level enhancement in the course outcomes. And so basically, I can say to you, in this orange realm, education through exploration, what we're doing here is we've created an opportunity where you give us a middle school student who can count and read, and we can bring them up to college sophomore biology quickly and thoroughly, with almost everyone capable of doing that. And then you can see the areas that we're looking for new technologies: direct human cognition linkages, conversation-based AI tutoring. All of these are under development in our system. In the green box up there, infinitely scalable learning. This is where we're using AI systems in particular. We've got one spin-out company, about 2,000 projects underway. Lifelong intelligent tutoring, knows how you learn specifically. I learn some things instantly by just a few words. Other things I struggle with. The more abstract for me, the harder it is for me to understand it without a dictionary. And so if you imagine that your intelligent tutor is helping you the way that you learn, the way that you're set up to learn to make things happen. So we call this Realm 5. And then lastly, at the bottom, we've got what we call math and science mastery for all. We need to take away, we're working on this, dozens of projects, dozens of initiatives. We're trying to take math and science and make them no longer a bugaboo. We can say that we've done that. We have over 60,000 STEM majors now online and on campus. We have 10,000 biology majors, half online, half on campus. We have 1,200 biochemistry majors online, thousands of engineering students online. Now, to do that, that means then you need math and science mastery, teaching many, many different kinds of learners. And then on campus, what we found is whole new ways to teach math and science, or mastery for all. Now, to make all these things happen requires a differentiated faculty, requires a differentiated culture, requires an openness to innovation, requires a mastery of technology, requires a culture capable of absorbing technology, requires you to throw off the yoke of all the other colleges and universities that think all of this stuff is no good or stupid. And so what we know is the products that we have, the graduates that we have, the research that we do, the families that we're influencing, and so forth. So the next slide. So here's what we're doing. Our design enables our responses under all conditions. So, we, as everybody did, we tried to keep going through COVID. We were fully operational through COVID. We were only remote for 7 weeks. We had more graduates in 21 than we did in 20, more in 22 than we did in 21, more revenue, more graduates, all those things. We found ways to make all that happen. And these are, by each of these realms, full immersion. So we built sync-enabled classrooms so that any student from anywhere can zoom into a class and be a part of a class. Active adaptive classrooms, our Dreamscape Learn Pods, Sunnybots, which are advisors and academic advisors, financial chatbots, universal access. I mean, I won't go through all of these, other than we've just found way after way, method after method, tool after tool to make things happen to advance learning. And so it's all about, to the spirit of today's meeting, it's all about, leading for innovation and driving innovation forward. Now, these are not the innovations of individual faculty members toying in a laboratory about how to do something. Our universal learner courses in the middle under digital immersion, that's about 50 courses. Those 50 courses are available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. We've had Afghan women living behind Taliban lines, taking our courses, then saying to us, I can't go to the university. I can't go to college because they won't let me go to college. I couldn't go to high school. They wouldn't let me go to high school. Can I come to your university? I took your courses and I did really well. Can I come to your university? And we're like, yeah, sure. And then now, so we've admitted thousands of people that took our universal learner courses as a way to earn their way into the university. So all these things, these design enablements are our ways to operate the university and in a sense to forward project the university in really significant ways. So next slide. So this radical democratization of higher education is not something to replace the faculty. The faculty are the central asset, the central thing. It's about faculty empowerment, faculty enhancement, faculty innovation, faculty uh, uh, force projection, all these things. And so something else that we've learned about along the way. So the faculty are absolutely central. Right below that, pedagogical focus of learning by doing. So we also have made a mistake in the past of not thinking about our students as collaborators of the faculty, but as subjects of the faculty. They're not that. They're so advanced now. They have access to tools, access to AI, access to systems for advanced learning, access to speed learning. Our students are involved in everything that you can possibly imagine. So we're now moving our culture to see them more as collaborators with our faculty in everything, which is a hugely empowering thing. Third, on the bottom, boundaries between leadership and faculty provide greater flexibility. What we mean by that is we're trying to empower our faculty to be able to operate at the peak of their research activity. If they're teaching only or teaching dominant faculty members, how do we help them to be master teachers at the masters of the universe kind of level? All those kinds of things. Our concept to the upper right of students, of traditional students, changes. What's a traditional student? We have students from everywhere, every walk of life. We have 25,000 online students who work at Starbucks who will graduate with no debt and no tuition. We have 4,000 Uber drivers at the highest level of Uber drivers who are also our students. And then we have 17,000 first-year students here on campus with us. The other thing that technology allows us to do is to quit worrying about numbers, quit worrying about anything other than outcomes. How do we drive forward outcomes? How do we drive forward graduation rates and so forth? The other thing that's happened for us is that our revenue sources have diversified because we're now educating people across their entire lifetime. So this year that we're going into will generate about $6 billion of revenue, and about 400 million of that, give or take, comes from the state. And then I'm of the view that one of the principal differentiators between universities is going to be their ability to develop and deploy educational technologies. And so we're very excited about that. Next slide. We'll send you all the slides, but this is where you can find all this stuff. So we'll make sure I'll talk to my colleague Denise, and she'll get the slides over to everyone. So let's get rid of these slides, and then let's go back to sort of where we are. Where we are is that we have experienced cultural innovation, technological innovation, process innovation, pedagogical innovation. Definitively, let me just reiterate that. Governance innovation with the faculty. The faculty have been involved in all of these things. We've acquired more resources for our faculty, higher faculty salaries, much higher, unbelievable learning outcomes, higher levels of graduation, higher levels of employability, more research projects, more research outcomes, more flexibility in the structure of the academic year. We came up with a whole new way to think about the semester. We built academic modules, 6 modules over 3 semesters, 2 per semester, all of that. We've found ways to use these technologies to reach every community. We've been able to be responsive in national emergencies or global emergencies. We've found ways to teach all over the world. We have 25 global universities that are now our partner, all powered by ASU. We're growing that to 65 universities. That's both a service and a partnership and revenue. We're serving our country by, the Air University of the U.S. Air Force is now powered by ASU. We've got all these things, other partnerships. University of Tennessee at Knoxville is working with our Ed Plus unit in a highly innovative way. We've got all kinds of groups that we can work with. And then on top of that, the productivity of our faculty is just unbelievable. So we've increased the number of graduates by 5x, the diversity of our graduates by more than 12x. We have expanded our research activities by 10x, and our faculty is about the same size. And so it's a hugely empowering thing for us in terms of helping the university to work and so forth and so on. So I think I will stop there and then turn to the questions, and then Whitney, coming back to you, we can go to just questions from the audience, which I'm fine with. The questions that you prepared or questions that you want to ask me. I mean, if I've got one message in terms of your leadership series, and I think Andrew really said this in his introduction of me. So most academic leaders or most academic executives are not leaders; they're process administrators. Well, universities don't need process administrators. Universities need leaders, leaders that work with the faculty, leaders that can inspire the faculty, leaders that can get resources to the faculty so that they can be successful, leaders that can build unique designs of universities. I mean, why are all the universities the same? I mean, that's like silly. They need to be similar. They need to be foundationally relational, but they don't need to be the same. A big public university in Richmond, Virginia, if it looks like a big public university in Phoenix, Arizona, something is wrong, because we have too many differences, too many people, too many needs, too many economic and social complexities in various regions that the universities have got to really catch up with. So at 27 minutes since I started talking, then Whitney, I'll turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, President Crow. We asked participants for questions ahead of time, and so we have a few here that we can go ahead and run with. And the first one that I have on my list is, will you talk a little about the pros and cons of online expansion as a strategy to increase access for a more inclusive population of students?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you that I don't know what any of the cons are, except you don't want to put out garbage. I can't imagine a faculty still thinking that it somehow needs to remain isolated in a physical location in a technological era of unbelievable access through digital access points. I can't imagine staying as cave people. So cave people don't want to project the university. And non-cave people, people that came out of the caves, they want to project the university. So let's just take Metro Richmond or Central Virginia or Central and Northern Virginia. I don't know why we can't find a way to reach someone in every family, every company, every hospital, every school. How do we help them? How do we help more people? How do we make our universities more valuable? Well, we can't do that by having everyone come to the VCU campus, which I visited a few months ago in Richmond. I mean, they can't do that. It looked to me like, you were in a complicated inner city kind of environment in terms of, lots of buildings and so forth and so on. So from my perspective, there's no downside except putting out bad stuff. There's only upside for the mission and the purpose of the university.
Thank you. The next question is, will you share more about ASU's vision to reach out to those with unfinished degrees and prioritize their re-entry? What are the results you're seeing from that effort?
So here's the sad state of affairs. So we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on Pell Grants. Students have borrowed trillions of dollars from the government and other government-backed loan sources, and most of those people have no degree. I'm like, I don't know who's in charge, but something's wrong. And so what we said is, why can't all the universities, or at least enough of them, say, well, we got a pathway for you to finish. And so we've gone back and now we've provided pathways for over 100,000 people to graduate who didn't finish. And then we've built pathways for people to earn their way into the university who maybe didn't take the right courses in high school. Maybe they didn't graduate from high school. So most academics, in my view, is we're overly legalistic and we're overly snooty. And so we think, oh, well, it's really so sad, that you didn't finish high school. You seem really smart. Oh, you've educated yourself quite a bit? Well, I'm really sorry. You can't go to our university unless you do this or you do that. And so what we're saying is, here's 4 courses that you can take. If you get a B or better in these courses, you have a very high probability of being able to do very well at the university. we've admitted thousands of these students. They outperform once they're here everyone else. And so what we then know is that our constraints on access to the institution are too rigid and not capturing the full body of talent out there. So we're using all of our technology to find a way to give people access to what we have.
I believe I'm muted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question. What are your thoughts about the now disputed by some impending enrollment cliff? Does this anticipated cliff impact your vision for expansion?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to be sort of glib, but enrollment cliff, I mean, that's like a joke. I mean, there's no enrollment cliff. There's a demographic shift in the number of high school graduates, uh, but most of them that go to college still don't graduate. So how can there be a demographic cliff? There's only our failure to graduate people. And then there's the 40 million people that didn't go to college. I mean, that went to college and didn't finish. And then there's the tens of millions of other people that wish they could still go back to college to get a course or to pick up a certificate or to pick up a second degree or to pick up a master's degree because they want their life to be able to be involved in, educational attainment along the way, but very little high quality stuff is being offered. And so enrollment cliff, I mean, it's just the opposite. That's the old simple, we're a public school waiting for high school graduates to walk over here. And so we're just a function of the number of kids that were born in '07 or '08, and that's going to be our determinant. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, we're so underperforming right now, it's not even funny. We're right now and you can look at this politically, you can look at the outcomes of so much anger out there towards the universities. Well, let me tell you, one of the reasons people are angry is everybody in their family went to college and no one finished, and they have debt. More than half the people that have college debt have no diploma, but they have to retire their debt. I mean, so there's no enrollment cliff.
Thank you. Next question. How can universities better serve as stewards of public trust to partner with their surrounding communities to build a diverse workforce that can rebuild and transform both within and outside of degree programs?
Yeah, we're doing a horrible job at that. The fact they are often more interested in their project in Zambia than they are in their project in Petersburg, Virginia. And so it's much nicer and fancier to take a big exotic trip to Italy than it is to, go down to Norfolk and figure out how to work on, sea level rise issues or whatever. And so I'm of the view that universities should be deeply immersed. In fact, our first design aspiration is where you are, your place is everything. So the universities, based on where they are, should be deeply committed to these communities, deeply focused on the success of all the K-12 schools in their communities, the success of whatever the urban businesses, the industrial businesses. The universities need to be tied to these things without losing track of their intellectual core. They need to be tied, and so you can better serve the public by also connecting to more of the public. So I don't know the graduation rates at Virginia Commonwealth, but I know that, in Virginia, there's over 1 million people that went to college and have no diploma. And so how are we servicing them? And then also in Virginia is, high-tech industries that are evolving while agricultural industries are changing, while urban and rural Virginia is moving in different economic trajectories. Well, can't the universities step up and help people to transition into new futures in new ways? And so I think we actually have a duty to serve at the public. And so one of the reasons that we have lower levels of public trust than we've had in the past is that, I mean, universities are perceived increasingly as a bunch of know-it-alls, living cushy jobs, getting off from their regular job every 7 years as a faculty member to take a sabbatical. People will never understand that. And then they're involved in all kinds of projects that might not even have any value in their own neighborhood. And so it's just we've got to be really focused on the people that we're serving in addition to the other things that we're doing.
Thank you. Another question. Will you share how ASU offers dual enrollment opportunities for the high schools within ASU's preparatory academy?
So we have an entity called ASU Prep and ASU Prep Digital. We have tens of thousands of students at our ASU Prep Digital, which are K-12 students, all digital. We have thousands of students in our ASU public schools that we run. They're charter schools, but charter public schools. And then we offer about 300 university courses to high school students at almost no cost, and we give them pathways to do really well in these courses. So what we're after is lowering the cost to go to college. We're after encouraging more kids to go to college. We're after building confidence. We're after keeping some kids in high school who are bored beyond belief based on what they're learning in high school. So we're giving them other ways to learn and other things to do. And we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people taking these courses.
We have a couple of questions that are popping up in chat. One is, can you tell us more about what it took, personnel, expertise, labor, to infuse so much AI into ASU's work?
So we decided to make a central utility called Ed Plus at ASU, and we filled it with specialists. And then we decided to make another utility called Enterprise Technology, which is everybody that has anything to do with technology that helps the place work. And then we make these two utilities available to all of the faculty with whatever they need. You want to do an AI course? Here's the team that will help you do it. You want to use AI in your course? Here's the team. You want to build an AI tutor? Here's the team. So we have more than 1,000 of those projects underway right now. We've built 4,500 courses that are online. We have trained 5,000 faculty members in digital learning, and then now 1,000 faculty members in AI learning. All of that is at no cost. All of that is centrally absorbed. And so basically we do it by stimulating the way to advance innovatively. So I teach courses. I make everybody teach, including me. I've got AI chatbots and AI tools, and it's literally it's beyond belief. I mean, beyond belief. And so we just go to the people that can help us. The faculty members are the specialists, and then these teams step in, and they've got all the tools and all the assets. And the university worries about all the costs, and so there's no barrier to innovation. We don't make anyone do anything, but if you want to, you can have access to anything you want. Virtual reality, new tools, new designs, new learning assets, new ways to do things, new ways to produce your content, new ways to do studio projections for your class, studios that capture your videos, studios that capture you, anything.
Fantastic. Thank you. Another question. Have you been able to diversify your faculty at the same rate that you diversified your student population?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yes. I mean, half our faculty are women, half are men. We have a very diverse faculty. I don't know if it's as diverse as the student body, but it's among the most diverse faculties in the country. And so we do that without an affirmative action office. We do that without any DEI goals. We do that by finding talent and hiring them and bringing them into our programs.
Thank you. Another question from a proud ASU alum and VCU School of Ed alum. Could you talk a little bit about how you galvanize the faculty and staff to convert to the new culture girding the ASU of today?
Yeah, I mean the basic way is that, are you just a clonal replicant that's just fulfilling a role that you could perform at any other university and it makes no difference where you are? Or, would you like to be in charge of yourself and your intellectual trajectory? And at ASU, we've empowered our faculties to be designers. So our School of Life Sciences has gone through two major self-design changes. We did away with all the departments. We created flexible schools inside the School of Life Sciences. The degree programs are changing on an ongoing basis. Reassessment, the faculty in charge of all of that. We built a school. We're also building schools based on different educational paradigms. So we have a School of Earth and Space Exploration, a School of Human Evolution and Social Change. We have outcome schools like our School for the Future of the Oceans. We didn't design any of these. We created the mechanisms and the tools and the support in which they could be designed. So we have a College of Global Futures. In there are 4 existing schools and a new school that we're launching. School of Sustainability, School for the Future of Innovation and Society, School for Complex Adaptive Systems, School for Ocean Futures, and then we're launching a new school called the School for Conservation Futures. Well, those aren't like any other school on purpose. We don't want them to be like any other school. Now we've got psychologists and sociologists and economists and political scientists and engineers and statisticians everywhere throughout the institution. And so, we have transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary departments, and lots of people are jointly appointed. And so what we really did is we empowered the faculty to be something other than bureaucrats, simple postal worker bureaucrats, where they just go to the post office, check their mail, go teach their class, come back, check their mail, and go home. And so that's not what we're doing. We've said, why don't you guys design? Why don't you faculty, you women and you men, design what you want to be, and we'll figure out how to help you to build that.
Thank you. Another question. ASU's Barrett, the Honors College, is often cited as a model for integrating a top-tier honors experience within a large university. How do you see the role of honors colleges evolving in the context of the new American university model, particularly balancing inclusivity with the need to cultivate a rigorous, high-impact academic community?
So our honors college is 7,600 students. And so so it's the same thing. Here's the admission standard. Everybody that meets the admission standard is admitted. We don't have enrollment caps. We don't have structural caps. And so what that means then is that it is very, very inclusive. Students from every family background, fantastic educational programs, specialized faculty supporting those honor students. Plus, they're also in other courses around the institution. We built a residential community for as many of them as want to live in together. And so scale helps you overcome this issue of exclusivity. So we figured out how to operate at scale.
Thank you. Folks are interested in hearing your thoughts on terminal degree requirements and any innovations you see in this area.
Even the word terminal degree, that kind of, it's like weird. That's just weird. I understand what it means. Like I have a PhD, so it's, I guess, a terminal degree. But my own learning I'm a really old guy, so my own learning in the last 5 years has been greater than any 5-year period in my life. And so what we need to recognize how people learn, the various ways that they learn. You demonstrate your learning with your quote unquote terminal degree, your JD, your PhD, whatever it happens to be, your MD. Your nurse practitioner degree, all those things, your EDD, those are your quote unquote terminal degrees, but that's somewhat of an archaic logic. So we look to have a diverse faculty trained in different ways, different things that they're contributing, including some like us, like myself, more of a regular faculty member, who comes up, as a faculty member writing and producing and teaching and so forth. But that doesn't have to be everyone. So I just think we need, lots of flexibility to build the right faculty. In education, we're definitely doing this. In journalism, we're doing this. In nursing, we've done this. We've got hugely diverse, different types of faculty doing different kinds of things.
Thank you. What role, if at all, does AI have when it comes to admission? Additionally, how is this model helping to promote student engagement and attendance?
Well, I mean, right now we're using AI in like everything you can imagine. I don't know exactly what they're using it for in the admissions process itself, but I know there's nobody that's not using AI here in terms of helping to speed decision making or helping to make assessments. Now, you have to use most of the ways that we use AI is in what we call prescribed or defined spaces, not open to the hallucinogenic effects of having all information available. And so we use AI in counseling. We use AI in multiple languages of counseling. We use AI in curriculum design, curriculum implementation, student activities, everything.
And then there's a follow-up to that question. What has been the ROI for student outcomes and advancing faculty research efforts, specifically the internal investment in AI and digital learning?
On digital learning, it's been massive. On AI, it's too early to know. We haven't calculated that yet. But on digital, the return in enhanced graduation rates, the return in reaching students that couldn't normally be reached, the financial return to the units, to the departments, to the schools I mean, we have departments now making millions of dollars above their base budget based on their digital courses that they've built for online students, which then drives those departments forward. I mean, tens of millions.
What does success look like for your graduates in terms of hireability, acceptance into grad school, etc.? What is the perception of ASU from peers and or industry?
Well, we do very well there. About 97% of our graduates are employed or in graduate school within 1 year. We are very highly ranked by those rankings on employability, top handful in the whole country. Quality of graduates very high, and we also have ROI calculations on our graduates out in the market. So our degrees are worth the same as University of Texas, University of Illinois, University of Washington, UC Berkeley, Stanford, USC, sort of the schools that are around us, University of Utah. So in the market, our degrees are highly valued. Differing by major, differing by topic, but very highly valued in the market.
Thank you. Please share the tracking process for the AI mentoring program and how has the program evolved based on the data?
Yeah, I don't know if I have that detail, so we might have to get you the answer to that in terms of the AI mentoring programming. We're just deploying a lot of this the last couple semesters. This semester, what we know is we're getting, greatly enhanced productivity from our students, greatly enhanced learning outcomes, continued expansion of our retention rates against our first year students, expansions of our graduation rates, all of those things. And we have an unbelievably complicated student body, believe me.
Okay, as we think about workforce development, how do you see the role of apprenticeship opportunities facilitating advancement and connection to our communities?
Well, I mean, apprenticeship is a word that has taken on a nomenclature definition also, that it's something that you do instead of going to college. And I think those are valuable and important programs as they have been demonstrated around the United States and in Germany and elsewhere. But we're of the view that the more apprenticeship or co-op or internship type programs that one can have are really, really valuable. And then what I also say is that people that are doing apprenticeships in the trades should also have access to other more general education assets. And so we're trying to work with unions, with union education programs, with apprenticeship training programs. How can we be helpful to every learner everywhere that we can be?
Okay, I think we have one final question in chat. How is ASU approaching the shifting federal policy landscape, for example, NIH overhead rates?
Well, I mean, right now we're just have our helmet buckled on about as tight as you can buckle it on our head, and we're just advancing. So we're adjusting, and we're making our case, and we believe that these are communications to get everyone's attention. They're not intending to blow everything up. They are intending to get everyone's attention. So I think everyone's attention has now been gotten. And our hope is that we can get back to rational discussions about how to advance projects in the national interest. It may mean that some of the projects that we've been working on are now no longer as important as other new projects that the new government will want us to work on. So we look forward to what those projects are. We look forward to ways that we could be of greater national service. And there's a lot of disruption going on right now, and we hope that that can be reduced in the near future.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and close out this lecture. Thanks to all who joined us for this exciting event and to each and every person who has worked to make this event happen. And a very special thanks to President Crow for taking the time to inspire us to innovate in education. The Department of Educational Leadership and the School of Education invite you to explore our nationally recognized programs and leadership that aim to shape the future of organizations within innovative approaches to leadership and leadership development. We prepare leaders by embedding our key values, including leadership for social justice, leadership for ethical organizations, leadership for equity and achievement, leadership for achieving school excellence, and leadership for community engagement. Please consider exploring and engaging with us, and we hope you will join us again on Tuesday, March 7th for our next leadership lecture and discussion. So until next time,
Thank you, Whitney.
thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.